Hi everyone, me again from cloudy Smyrna, Georgia on a lovely Saturday. My wife and I are on our way to an estate sale. A friend of our son's moving and they got a bunch of stuff to get rid of, and Susan wants to go see if there's anything there she can't live without. As for me, I got more stuff than I can use now. Thought about taking some stuff with me and just laying it on a table so they could give it away for me, but I didn't plan ahead far enough. Alright, it's been a while since I've had any, since I've been online. I thought I'd fill you in on my latest adventure. We've been having a recurring problem for the last year with Susan's RT. We have the worst problem you can have. We have an intermittent start problem. I might have mentioned it before in previous videos. What happens is you turn the key on, it cycles just like it's going to start, and you hit the start button and it does nothing. It doesn't click, it doesn't make it change on the display, nothing happens. And so I've changed out relays. I've tried to track it down with different electrical faults and things like that. I thought maybe there was a problem with the button, mechanically with the switch, things like that. And took it into Extreme Propulsion. They're great people to take your bike to. They did a great job for me. They found a big fault in an area in my one of my relay boxes, fuse box I guess you'd call it. There are two on the Spyder, and one of them, some of the pins had pushed through, so that the relays weren't making good contact. And so they took care of all that for me. While they were in there, they replaced some intake hoses that were worn and put some new plugs in it, since it was all disassembled anyway. And so we got all that done and brought it home, and wouldn't start. We rode it around a little bit and wouldn't start. They couldn't find anything wrong. They thought maybe it was something to do with the relays. So I take it back to them, and they can't get it to do it. They can't get it to not start. And so they did some work, and we finally determined that the smart key, which on that bike it has a smart key like a lot of your cars do, the key fob you have to have with you, in the Spyder is made into the key. And the smart key was not consistently talking to the bike. And we decided to, look, we're not going to fool around with this anymore. We would put a new switch on it and a new start module, and they reprogrammed it. We got two new keys. They changed out the lock cylinder on the back, on the trunk. Got everything ready to go. Fired right up, perfect. I went to pick it up. I get home with it, and if you know how a Spyder works, the switch does more than just start the bike. If you push down on the switch and turn it to the left, it opens the trunk in the front, or the frunk we call it in the Spyder community. If you turn it to the right, it pops the seat loose where you can get to the gas cap. So it's pretty crucial to have that working. I got home, I turned the key to the left, nothing. It would not open up the front. Well, the switch hasn't worked for a couple of years now, and they're not available. So now I'm screwed because I can't get the front open. Okay, I tried to turn it to the right. It would not turn at all to the right. So I could not even get the seat up to put gas in it. So I immediately threw it back on the trailer and took it back up to them again. And they had mentioned that they had found a problem. There are two cables that hook to the switch. One of the cables was damaged, and they didn't have it in stock, but they thought that they tried to effect a repair on it, and the repair just didn't hold. And so I took it back to them. They were very apologetic. I waited around. They asked me to wait around for a while. I waited around for about an hour while they really inspected it, tore it all down again, went all through it, and they said, yeah, we got to have a cable, and we don't have one. We'll order it right away. And I said, okay, great. And said, in the meantime, they were looking around for a switch, and they found a switch on one of the side-by-sides. It's actually, you write this down if you ever need one, it's the switch that does the dump bed on one of the 4x4s. And it doesn't have the right decals on it, but it is the same exact switch. So he got one of those. He pried the top off of the old switch with the correct decals on it and placed it on the new switch and put it on, and that works fine. And in the meantime, the cable came in, and I went and picked it up yesterday. And this is our first ride since we've had all the work done. The bike did start right up, but now don't get your hopes up. It has always started up on the first try. Usually it's the third or fourth time we cut it off and cut it on in a day of riding that it gives trouble. So I guess we'll find out later on. But everything seems to be working okay so far. The key continues to work. I checked it again just now. The new switch works. Everything seems to be going okay. So hopefully we'll be good for the rest of the year. Now, I know you're all wondering, what did the cost of 3 trips to the dealer and replacing all these parts that we had to have done and all the labor involved? Well, it was around $2,800. Now that's a lot of money, especially for retired folks. But when you consider that we've had this bike for, what, 13 years now? 12, 13 years. And this is really the first expensive repair we've had on it. I can't complain. That's not much. I mean, what is that? A couple $100 a year of maintenance. I do all the rest of the work on it myself because I'm a little bit handy. I can do mechanical things. Electronics sometimes give me a fit, like this one did. But hopefully it's all fixed. Susan's happy. She's riding it right now. And hopefully if it starts, once we get there and turn it off, if it starts when we get ready to leave and come home, that'll be one victory. Every time it starts, that'll be a victory. And hopefully it won't give us any more trouble. After all, everything's new. So if you have that kind of issue on your bike, now I've been online, there are a lot of people that have had no start problems with the older Spyders, but nothing that was like ours. Nothing you described like that. So again, it acts exactly like you would expect it to start. It cycles through. You have to push the mode button to satisfy the Canadian safety standard that you're actually there and you've read the book, and that's actually literally what it says. And the dash comes alive with the speedo, and then you can push the start button and start it. And again, if yours does nothing when you push that button, my guess is your key isn't being recognized by the switch anymore, at least in an intermittent way. Haven't figured that out yet. Can't wrap my mind around that. That's again electronics, where mechanical, something fails, it fails. Electronics, maybe it failed, maybe it, who knows. Oh well. I hope you all enjoyed my story. That's where we are right now, and we're, like I said, we're out riding. It's a beautiful day. So hopefully we'll get a lot more videos in the future. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.